with a purpose so true. But when I'm Myers, we honor you. Building a platform for every man. Through trials and growth, the light stays strong, turning every challenge into a
How are you doing, Susan?
I'm doing well, Myers.
Happy to see you tonight. How was your
Th-
holy?
my whole was going to spend the whole day on hostel.
That's good. Mr.
And
Dolo,
yours?
I just been indoor. Yeah, I just been indoor. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Mr. Dolo, how are you?
hello?
Yeah, we are getting. How are you doing, sir?
Am I audible?
You are. You are. Are you getting us as well?
Susie, Miles.
Yes, you are audible, Mr. Dugu. I'm getting
I
you
think I have
clearly,
to
my
go off
friend.
and come back because you guys are not audible to me. I don't know if I am audible to you.
Yes, you are audible from our end.
Okay, let me do this. Yeah. Oh, my TV, light in the world. My TV, shine on the screen. Voices of hope, living the dream. From Africa's heart to the world we see. Truth and culture, Maya TV, Maya TV, bringing light each day, stories that guide us, show the way, one love, one voice, one destiny, welcome to the future, Maya TV, a vision was born with a purpose so true. But when I'm Myers, we honor you. With faith and courage, the journey began. Building a platform for every man. Through trials and growth, the lights.
Oh,
Yo, what's up?
yeah, my brother. We are doing good, man. And you?
I'm doing pretty good, thank God. What's up?
Okay. You can't complain. We give God the glory, my brother. Are you there, Philip?
Uh, hello?
Yeah, we are getting you, Philip. Are you getting us?
Okay. I think there's. Let me let me see this.
Okay, so we want to say good evening to all of our people. We want to say welcome tonight to another edition of the Maris TV show. Tonight is such a wonderful time to be here. Wherever part of the world you are joining us, we say welcome tonight. As we begin the month of March, today marks our first show, and we want to say thank you for joining us. We hope that you can stay with us as we run through our show on this broadcast. So you can follow us on Facebook on YouTube. You just put in Miles TV, and then you are going to see us right there. So we want to say welcome tonight to our education and youth development show. And today we all know that we're going to draft through another interesting or important topic, you know, that matters in our days today. And we're going to be talking about self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Susan, you know this topic is very, very important because there are a lot of us today in our generation. We lack these things. We are not aware about ourselves. We don't know how to control our emotion. We don't. We are unable to be intelligent when it comes to when emotional situation arises. And due to this, we face a lot of challenges in our society. And it is good to know, that we are here to talk about this particular thing today. And I hope that all of our listeners today will pay key attention as we draft through tonight discussion. So I'm not the host tonight. I'm also one of the panelists. But while we are with our host, we want to start the ball rolling because we are running out of time. Yeah, Susan, you looking at our time today. A lot of us we are not aware of ourselves. We are not aware about our own. And like I was doing some research and I tried to understand there are a lot of things we need to be aware of. And then I'll come to it. But we have to give our host. Are you here now, Philip? Hello, Mr. Dolo. There are a lot of things that we are not aware of, Susan, and these things today, once you are not being informed about it, it causes you serious harm, it causes you serious problems. And that's why we are here tonight to say we're going to talk about self-awareness and emotional intelligence. What are those things that an individual needs to be aware of around your surrounding? What are those things you need to be aware of? And tonight is going to be a great discussion, and I hope that we all can share our own insight and try to understand the fundamental details of understanding yourself and that of being intelligent when situations arises. You understand it? So I was like, what are those things people really need to be aware of? And I try to when I try to read the topic and try to do some research, Susan, I try to understand that knowing your emotion, that's one of the things you need to be aware of, right? You must know your emotions, recognizing your strength and then that of your weaknesses. You see, these are things, if we don't understand them, it becomes serious problem for us. Understanding our values and belief, these are things we also need to be aware of, our values and belief. If you are not understanding you are not aware of your value and then that of your belief, it becomes problem for you because when anybody say anything like that, you just go by it. And as an individual, right? Most especially you people being a girl's children, right? You like most of you say woman, you must have that prestige. You understand it, knows your value, knows your potential. And once you like it, these things, what happen at the end of the day, it becomes serious problem for us. Identifying emotional triggers, right? Identifying those things that can really, when it get to you, how your emotional arises, identify those things and how you can be able to minimize them or be able to suppress them or what have you. But tonight, before we go into it, like I said, I'm not the host. I was just doing some overview while we are with our host. I'm seeing a man tonight. He's seen a t-shirt. Can you just show the t-shirt to the people so they can see? Miles TV have already started getting their own right now. Okay, so thank you. You can take over there, my brother.
Well, I would like to extend my thanks to you as well, and a big thanks to Susie for joining us tonight on the discussion, and also a warm greetings to all of our followers, our supporters, our friends and families who they always take upon their time to follow us and follow the conversation, learn from the conversation, and be able to implement what we discuss on the Myers Television platform. So it's a great honor again that we are here in the month of March, especially a month dedicated to women. So the Myers Television is saying to all the women, Happy Mother's Day, Sisters Day, Girlfriend Day, Boyfriend Day. When I say boyfriend day, they kind of that kind of mix, relationship. So we have to include everyone in the society. So happy Women's Day to you all. Is a great honor, and we actually had successful events last month of February, which was very incredible. And this event, especially this month, promises to be very fascinating and wonderful. We are going to have a wonderful time on this platform. We will learn together, we grow together, and we be able to implement that which will be taught unto us by our guest panelists and host as well. So, like tonight, we kind of aware about the topic because we earlier on posted that it's all about the life skills we want to build as people, especially women, because this month is the month dedicated to women. So we're going to be building those skills which are necessary for the growth and personal development of all the women in our country, Liberia, and around the world. So join us tonight in our episode one, where we are discussing self-awareness and looking at emotional intelligence as well. I like the emotional intelligence part, Myers, while you were speaking. I was like, this emotional intelligence is actually natural and it's okay, for us to at times tend to be very emotional when it comes to things, when it comes to our relation with people, even with ourselves. It's good to get in our feelings. It's good to get into that state. It's good to show or express certain bodily, expressions. Like we talk about the facial expression. You see someone is going to, fold their arms due to what has happened. So it's good that we react to those things because we are humans, and it's very much important that we give attention to our emotions. With that being said, tonight we have Myers with us always, and we have Kebe with us. But I will just give them the time to kind of reintroduce themselves, few seconds, and then we kickstart. Thank you. So let's start off with Kebe. Let's hear you speak to your people.
Okay, good evening to all listeners. Firstly, I want to appreciate you all for following the Marius TV, especially for being with us from February up to today's date. Thanks to you all. We appreciate your support. Shortly, I'm Kebe Esefala, and tonight on the show, I'll be serving as a panelist.
Thank you, ma'am. So let's hear you out, CEO.
So thank you so much, Philip. So to all of our viewers or listeners, I want to say welcome. And once again, I'm Bona D. Myers. Tonight, I'm one of your panelists for this all-important discussion, and I hope that you can stay with us. Those doubts, those questions, and what have you have on mind, you can bring them in tonight. We are not an expert, but we are here to share the little knowledge we have, so we all can learn from one another. I want to say thank you so much, Philip, for the time.
Thank you so much. And again, yeah, we are to serve the Liberian people, especially the young people. And we're going to be looking in particular, when we talk about the young people, we're going to be looking in particular at the women's direction. So this entire show for the month of March is dedicated to all the women. All we say to you watching is to keep sharing the show, comment, react, and also invite your friends, to learn with us as we all discuss this life issues, these life skills we ought, to build. Man, these skills were not, these skills, I'm sorry for the distractions. I don't know what's happening. Man, these skills were not, just born with us. No, we were born by our parents, brought into this world, and we grow from one phase of life or stage of life to another. So as we transition from the infant stage to a child's, stage to our what we say teen age stage, and then we come to the youth, and then we come to young adult, and then we go to the senior citizen. These different phases or these different stages in life, there are skills we ought to develop as people. So emotional intelligence is one of those skills we ought to develop, we ought to practice, we ought to learn and be able to implement as we live in this world, as we have relationships with people. So we all were not born with emotional intelligence. No. We all were not born with self-awareness. No, we were not born with those skills. They are, being taught by others, so we know how to relate with others. So as we go about learning them, knowing what they are and how, of help they are to us, we learn them and we'll be able to have, a beautiful relationship, network, and we'll be able to make some informed decisions. So it's important tonight that you invite your friends again and you drop your thoughts in the comment sections so we all can, reason together and learn together. Having said that, we're going to be looking at the foundational part of this entire emotional intelligence thing and self-awareness, because we are going to be here for the next 2 days or so. So we're going to take it from the foundational level. We share our thoughts and some practical ideas, some practical things we have working on in our family, in our friend circle, at our job site, at our school, and the marketplaces. So it's important that we discuss this issue with some practicality in mind. So looking at the word emotion, one may say what emotion is. So I would like to just, throw this out to Kebe so she can tell us her own thought, her own perspective when it comes to the word emotions before looking at emotional intelligence itself. So Kebe, what say you?
Okay, thank you tonight, Mr. Guru. Thanks to all our followers and our listeners out there. One thing if we talk about emotions, emotion has to do with the way we feel or something like feeding or saying that sometimes some people can be like emotions, so they say that if they are all happy, and sometimes some people can be like angry. So emotion is like it deal with behavior changes. If it comes to the way you respond to your reaction to something, yeah, that's how they can, because there are certain people when they are happy, they just like cry, you just see tears. And there are certain people when they are angry, they don't talk, they just keep mute. So emotions just have to do with your feelings. They have to do the way you react, like your behavior, the way you respond to things. That's my understanding.
Thank you. Thank you so kindly. We take that. And I mean, you were just right with that. Emotion being our feelings. And those people who are doing psychology, they will kind of say it's actually our psycho physiological feelings, the consciousness of our mind and how we tend to relate with things and with people. So you got that right. Thank you so much. And we transition to Miles, and let's hear it out.
Thank you, Philip. So I won't use the word feelings against strong feelings. So now say when you talk about emotion, it has to do with that kind of negative reaction that won't carry on when there is some circumstances, right? Those negative reaction, or let me say those reaction that won't pull out when there is a situations that arises in a particular time. The way one speak, the way you speak, the way you handle it, those negative action of which you carry on to that particular thing, right? Can be your emotion, can determine whether it is good or it is bad. So your emotion can be the action that comes after a situation or circumstances.
Thank you so kindly, Niles. And I think you both are up in sync with the definition. That's the basic one. We all can understand and try to get a clear picture of this entire emotional intelligence topic for tonight, where we're going to be looking at self-awareness, especially in women of today's era. So, like you all said, right, it's actually conscious feelings, not just any kind of feelings we may have or one may have, but the consciousness of us, that particular state which we are, in order to make a decision, in order to relate with someone, in order to react to a situations. So that moment one may say that it is emotion. Now the intelligent part of it, or the intelligence part of it, What comes to your mind, Miles, when we are looking at the intelligent part of the emotion thing? Then we can combine it as in emotional intelligence. So, what say you about the intelligence?
So basically, when you look at the intelligent parts of the emotion is how well you are able to handle it. So I would like how well you recognize it and managing the reaction. Like I said firstly, right? Emotions has to do with that reaction that comes after a circumstances or whatever situation. So the intelligent part is has to do with how well you manage it, and secondly, it has to do with understanding others, right? Because this, for example, Philip, when you and I have a conflict, or maybe we have a misunderstanding, right? You are speaking, one of you I'm responding, right? I should be able to be a good listener and know how to
Right,
respond to what you are saying, right? Because if I
right,
don't know what to respond to what you are saying, I will be misquoting you. I will be doing things that that is not in line with what you are saying. At the end of the day, I will not be that kind of intelligent person. So I should be able to listen or understand you as an individual and take a time in responding to it. So, like I said, it has to do with managing your reaction. That's one of the things, the intelligent part. Because the reaction come there, but how well you can manage the reaction. That's why people see you to
right.
be an intelligent person, right? And I talk about responding wisely. Another thing in this intelligent thing, right, is how you respond wisely. There are a lot of us today, we are not intelligent because the way we react to things, when people just say things, we just say it the other way, right? You have to be
Right.
very wise. So in order to get a sense of intelligence to your emotion, you must be very wise in how you say things, right? Your timing of saying things and the kind of situation that comes, and then how you present your say to it. So I'll stop here for now.
Thank you, sir. Let's move on to Quebec. What say you when it comes to the intelligence part of the emotion we are talking about tonight?
When we talk about the intelligent aspects of emotion, firstly, we are talking about the way you handle your emotions. In the sense that you won't allow your emotions to control you, but you have to control over your emotions. Like being intelligent, like for example, things like someone who is angry with something and they come like falsely to accuse you, like you will just be standing listening to them, you won't talk, you won't respond to them, but like they are saying things that are very hurtful to you, but for the sake of peace you just keep mute. It's like, sometimes it's very hard to do such, but like being so intelligent, you having control over your emotions, because if you are not intelligent at that particular point, if you lose it, like at the end of the day, it will turn out to be so. Like me defining it like being intelligent is like having control over your emotions.
Having control over your emotions, and Myers is also saying same thing but in different format. It just kind of boils down to this thing, right? The control aspect is how well you manage what you say, what you think, and what you act upon, which Myers said. And you talk about the controlling aspect of that, which is the managerial aspect of your feelings. So now, what if Myers said something to me? It could be positive, it could be negative. So let's hold all factor constant, positive or negative. Now, my ability to think through what has been said by Myers unto me, my ability to be able to speak to that which has been said by Myers unto me, and also my ability to act upon that is actually the control system of which you just made clear unto us, Kevin. So you guys are great tonight so far. I think we're going to have a fascinating episode tonight, and our followers can all be a good listener and learn from what we are saying. Now, let me say this, adding on to what you guys have said earlier. I had a conversation with my friend, few minutes before coming on the show about this topic. So I was like, tonight we are going on the Mass Television and we'll be talking about emotional intelligence and self-awareness, especially for you women. So what say you? What's your thought? She was like, yo, man, I mean, we cannot manage, you know, our emotions, or we cannot be intelligent enough when it comes to manage our emotion until and unless we understand ourselves. That's exactly what she said. And I guess she's watching now. I guess Game is watching now. She said, until and unless we understand ourselves, that's the only way we can be able to manage, control, as Susie said, our emotions. And guys, it's very important before we even tend to manage our own lives, our relationships, all the decisions we make on a day-to-day basis, we must first learn to understand ourselves. When do I get mad? When do I get sad? When do I get happy? What are some of the things which people say unto me that are very annoying, or I cannot take for granted, or I cannot tolerate? What are those things I don't tolerate? And what are those things I do tolerate? Now, until we can discover those things, until we do that, we may not, or we cannot manage our emotions. So it's important to that we discuss this emotional intelligence and that of the self-awareness. And actually, we must, to all our followers, we must have the ability, we all must have the ability to recognize and manage how we feel. So at that time in the month, by that time in a day, when people are around, when one person is around, when you are alone, what runs through your mind? Or whenever someone says this to you, how do you react? So your ability to recognize that situation or that feelings that come to you, we can say that you are emotionally intelligent. And the word these days, the business environment, different companies, CEOs or HRs, they are actually looking for people who are emotionally intelligent. So that's why it's important that you give your attention to this show for tonight. Having said that, let's transition to one of the critical aspects of this emotional intelligence thing, looking at the three components. We have just three components according to the psychology, concept or theory, where you have one of the psychologists said that the one of the components is, how subjective we are to our experience. Now, we've got an experience the first time of a particular thing we haven't experienced. How do you tend to react to that thing, be it negatively or positively? Let's hear you out, Susie.
Can you please come again? You're coming in broken from my end.
Okay, am I audible to you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, like previously, one of the psychologists, talk about the three components of emotional intelligence, where he talk about being subjective to our experience. Now, I want to, give you this scenario or give us this scenario that you firstly came across this situation. It could be a very positive situation. It could be a very negative situation. I don't want to take side, but you're going to, explain to us in your own ways. So you experiencing, I'm hearing a noise in the background. Okay. So you kind of experiencing that thing for the first time in your life. It could be from your family, your friend circle, or whoever, or whatever that you have experienced. How do you tend to react to that which has been done or said?
Firstly, like every experience we have, a change or either positive or negative, we can we learn from it so that we
Right.
don't make the same mistake that in case it occur in the nearby future, we just follow the pattern, we deal with it. So if you have similar experience, first thing you will look at, you will avoid the mistakes you made because maybe the first one when it occur, maybe the way you approach it at the end of the day, it leads to another side. Like you said, maybe I would choose the guy. So like at the end of the day, that's why it leads to the wrong side, but through talking and through discussing issue, it came by eternal life. So from there you will learn that okay, after this whole issue, I have experienced that if a similar thing occur in the future, I will use this pattern. The pattern like you avoid the mistakes you made in the previous one. So if you have similar experience, definitely you won't make such mistakes again because you definitely use the positive way to solving that issue.
Are you done?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, okay. I think there was a delay in your voice due to the internet. All right. So what I catch was that, making an informed decision from your past experience. That's your key point you made. Am I right? Yeah. And that's actually pretty much good for every one of us, right? Like whenever we kind of encounter similar scenario or situation, that we did see or we were a victim of previously, and same of that nature is kind of happening this time, we just kind of take a break. Like Susie said, you take a break, have a reflection, and kind of think through how you reacted to that thing and how you ought to react to this current one. Because the way you reacted, it actually gave you or a result. Was that result positive or was that result negative? Was that result a good one for you or was that result a bad one for you? So based on the result you've got from the action you took previous time, then this time, if that was negative, you tend to, you know, change your path or use the other way around in order to tackle this situation that is happening. And that, which is pretty much good, that we all kind of learn from our past mistakes and we kind of go forward with a very fresh mindset and a positive one so that we can have a good relationship, a good connection with people as we live on. And Miles, what say you? Now, I want to be very particular with this question, right? I want to be very particular with this question. Here is the scenario. It is your first time encountering such a chaos. It is your first time encountering this person or that person or this thing in that place. I mean, it was very chaotic. First time ever in your life. How will you react to such chaos? Knowing full well you haven't had an experience of seeing chaos.
Thank you so much, my brother. So when I heard the question the first time to Susan, and it just dropped me to the place of understanding self-regulations, and in the sense where I have had this thing before, and it led me through a lot of difficulties. And this time around again, coming towards similar thing like that, feel like the first thing I have to do is pause before reacting. My pause before reacting has to do with I have to think very carefully before I react now because I don't want knowing that mistakes is a best teacher, right? Mistakes, whenever you make mistakes, it teaches you. It's a best experience, right? We talked about it's a best experience. So now I have to pause and try to think critically before making any decisions. Because if I don't, because this decision I about to make now will help me, right? To build me, will help me to build me, or will help me to destroy me as it seemed to destroy me previously. So now I have to be very critical. I have to pause whenever situation like that comes because maybe at the previous one, Philip, I was like in a hurry. I was placed under pressure, and a lot of things were happening. So I needed to do it. And then that was mistakes. A lot of things happened, other things. But now I have to be very critical when it comes to that. Whether this thing is negative or positive, one of the things I need to do is to manage the kind of anger or frustration that thing comes with. I have to manage the anger or frustration, because whenever you work in anger and frustration, it leads you negatively to whatever decision you made. Because you will just do things like you just want to do it. And because of that, a lot of us today we are facing those difficulties and other things, right? Another thing, I will try to practice emotional discipline. I will try to discipline myself in whatever action I want to take, because I have to be very strategic, right, in whatever decision I'm about to take, because mind you, that thing have affected me before. So now it's another thing that comes in. It has to do with discipline. I have to practice emotional discipline. How to deal with that thing, with that disciplinary action. Maybe at first I was doing it under that pressure, like you said, under that pressure. But now I have to deal with it with some level of discipline in order to make sure that I can have that successful outcome that I want to have from that particular thing. So that's how I'm going to handle that particular situation. One, I talked about I have to pause and think twice, which of course before reacting. And secondly, I say I have to manage my anger or frustration, because if I don't manage it, at the end of the day, I will do what I'm not supposed to do, and I will draft to the same previous place I drafted before. And the last thing I said, I'll have to practice what emotional discipline. So reaching out to that particular thing for the second time, maybe previously I did not use discipline, but now I'll have to add discipline to myself in order to what to make it very easy. That way I talk about self-regulation on this particular thing question you brought. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mike. I mean, you rightly put it, just buttressing Kevin. And I would like us to look at it in this direction where you talk about the self regulation. So it's actually the managerial aspect of our emotions, the controlling aspect of our emotions, how we tend to handle our emotions. Now, until and unless you are disciplined, Miles, you just rightly said, until and unless you are disciplined, you cannot regulate how you think, how you feel, and what you say. Now, discipline is key to this thing. So, here is the scenario we are talking about. This circumstance of a grave magnitude happened. It's very chaotic, so disgusting, very annoying. I encountered this person. I encountered this thing. Now, smartly, as I said, I take a break. I take a break. I pause. Now, you pausing, being silent, doesn't mean you are weak. No, it's your strength. Taking a break of what has happened, of what has been said, that disgusting situation or circumstance, or the person is very annoying, they are very arrogant, chaotic, toxic. Miles is telling us on this platform tonight that we ought, it is allowable, it is permissible, it is wise enough that take a break no matter your strength, no matter your credentials, no matter your economical status. Is wise enough that you, that me, that us take a break, remain silent for a moment, and give a thought and be like, what if I said this? Susie, what if I react this way? Now, that break which you are taking by keeping calm and maintaining your composure and having the entire scene very silent is giving you the time to think through what has been said to you and how you ought to react to that thing that has been said. But I think many people see that as a silent, as a weakness. Many people see that as a weakness whenever a chaotic scene happen, and then you pause you take a break and kind of think through it. People see that as a silence, as a weakness. Susie, let's hear you out. Is that actually a weakness or is that a strength?
For me, it's a strength because that is my best way to react to issues. Because
Okay.
there are certain people, they can be very tempting at times. Like we have a parable that say one person can make argument, right?
All right.
So if one person is talking, one person is quiet, you would notice that the person that is talking, the moment they talk like 10 minutes, the other person is not responding, they will just keep quiet. Because you won't, like the person that is quiet is not giving them that energy to continue. So for me, I classify that as a strength because during that time you'll be saying like one person is already mad. Maybe like most mentality of most people now that the moment they are mad, they want to get into a fighting. So you being quiet, especially most people that don't talk often, if they want to talk, they will lose it and say something out of the way. So the best thing to do that either you just keep quiet because the moment you want to talk, you say something out of the way. The person that is angry will definitely like they already have the mentality of the moment you say this thing, they will just jump on you fighting. And before you make it, you look before you look, things will be out of it. But the moment the person come to talk, you are not talking. Just always observing. In 10 minutes time, they will just keep quiet. Because like we are talking, you are not giving them that energy. And before you make up your mind, so the best way to talk to these people, the time they are down, they are calm. That's the time that you can sit down and talk issue with them. But when they are angry at that particular time, no need to talk. You just keep quiet. So for me, I consider that as a strength. It's not a weakness. It's just being intelligent, how you deal with issues.
Okay. So vice versa, right? You'd be like, the person is mad, the person is tense, the person is too hard in their feelings. All you tend to do is to be quiet till they are calm and then you go back to them. Now, what if you were the one who is high in feelings, in your emotion, you are very, temperamental. I mean, how do you manage that? I want to understand because now you are the victim. You are the victim of what that person has said or done, and it got you mad, right? So, how do you tend to handle that? How do you tend to regulate your emotion?
Actually, I guess it's just a show to now because for me, I haven't experienced that aspect of last year because I'm a person like the part I experienced previously is the part I'm actually used to. When
Right,
I'm angry, I just love to sleep because during that time, if I wake up, I think I'll be like calm because I'm a person with few words. But the moment I'm angry, if I'm trying to talk, like within me, I make sure that every word that comes from my mouth, it should hurt you. So to avoid because of people, because there are words you say to people, even after you are calm, they won't forget. So
right,
my best way to solve that issue for me, so I haven't experienced that other aspect. No matter you are talking, as long as I don't want to talk, I will talk. Even you talk for 1 hour, I will talk. The only thing I would do, I'll just put my earpod in my ear, take my phone, lie down and sleep. So me, that's my way of handling. So I've been experienced that other aspect because I'm a person that I'm unable, like if I'm angry, I'm unable to see words. The only thing
right.
is to see tears. So for me, I could be like, I don't have that energy seriously to go that other aspect if it comes to anger. So for the question you asked me, I haven't experienced that aspect yet. So
Thank
I'm
you,
unable to like yes explain that fact.
thank you, thank you so much for being vulnerable and just kind of telling us about yourself. And we hope that if you kind of encounter any chaotic or toxic stuff. It could be from your relationship, it could be from your friend cycle, it could be from, I mean, wherever, whenever. I just hope that you just practice what Miles had taught us about. You almost at all times do that because I listen to you carefully when you said you remain quiet. You just listen to your music, you go and sleep off. Yeah. I just hope whenever you kind of encounter any toxic situations, of high magnitude that wants to get you out of character, because man, you people do things that get us out of character. So I just hope you continue with the tips you have, the strategies you have, to be able to calm that situation and not going into problem with people. So Max,
And
what say
another
you?
thing again,
Yeah,
if it comes to that aspect, the moment the person tries to like to her, one thing I do, we are living, but everyone have higher authorities. That's the reason we have authorities. If I'm unable, the only thing I would do, I just complain the person that I don't want any noise, I don't want any chaos. Can you please try to talk to this person like this? Because you don't take the lawyer because like one thing I say, something will take as common. Sometimes someone will start arguing very common. At the end of the day, in like less than 30 minutes, it will blow up. And these days that you don't know how someone is living their life, people sleeping, waking up, they are not. Some people are physically fit, but internally they are sick. In case you want to
right,
go something that your temper, you unable to control your temper, being there, you just hit, then the person fell off. At the end of the day, it'll be
right.
like if I could not, it would be like so. The only thing I can do that's the step. If it comes to my relationship aspect, the only thing I do if I'm angry, I chat.
Right. That's
I
nice.
express myself. Yes. So
I
these are things. And actually being a married, this I think has saved me from many, many things, many
that,
things, and saved me a lot.
that's good. That's good. And Max, what's your advice to young people, especially women, our young girls, with respect to what Susie has said, right? So can you expand on her perspective?
Okay, thank you so much, Philip. So firstly, we say silent, silent mean consent, right? That's what we
Yeah.
usually say, right? But I also tell you that silent mean concentration. Whenever people are silent, sometimes you are speaking and they are not speaking, right? They are concentrating on what to say. They are looking at the timing of what to say to you, right? Because people think very twice. But that's why we're talking tonight about emotional intelligence, right? So I want to say this, right? Emotional, I want to read this so you can try to get something, right? Uh Emotional is not about suppressing feelings, it is about managing them wisely. Because every
Mm.
humans we have emotions. It's man nature, right? It's a natural thing. We have it, right? But what do you do with that? What you do with that emotion you have? You are intelligent to it and use it very wisely. Like Susan was saying, when things that day arises, we live in a society that you might expect these things. What how you need to handle it is the kind of wise way you need to handle it, the kind of thing you need to do. Like I usually say firstly, right? You pause and you try to think what this person drafting out, what the person really want from me. Sometimes you feel like you don't do anything to people. Sometimes they just wake up with some allocation, they just do some things and other things, right? And sometimes let your emotion not allow you to respond to them very fast, right? Do not the Bible tells us, right? Be fast to hear, but what? Be slow to
So,
speak. So whenever we listen to that scripture and we try to practicalize them, we will, like Susan was saying, we'll try to escape a lot of temptation, trials, and tribulations. The reason why you see more people today, they are common thing that take them to jail is because they allow their emotion to oversee them, right? They wasn't able to they wasn't able to think wisely, right? Why would like I was watching on the social media, somebody and their friend just get in a little, argument, what have you, quack. You allow your emotion to assail you and you try to what? To use it on a wrongful way. So what the first thing I would do, like I said to you, my brother, people usually ask, right? My mom usually used to say sometimes, my you will make people eat all your hair, you will make people eat all your hair. Right? I'm a short guy, but my emotion is very long. Right?
right.
It's very
I
long.
like
Do you know why it's long? Because there are a lot of people get short temper, right? We are short
right.
emotion, something happen, right? But mine is very long. It takes me time to react. Normally they will tell you, right? In my family, they will tell you. that man sometimes he's the last to react, but when he react, he can be there. No, you feel like you will not like it. Like I usually tell people, Susan, that's me, and Philip, that's me. I don't like to get in confusion or noise with somebody who I know, because when I deal with you, I don't want to see you again my entire life. So that's why I avoid those things, then, right? So I try to put on that vastness, right? When things come, I know how to handle it. I know how to dodge people. So nowadays you see that through the kind of, like I said previously, they say silent mean consent, but sometimes through the concentration I've been having with things, when people say, when people do it, the concentration I've been concentrating on it. Somebody say I don't reply to it again, because let me say this to you. I told somebody, if I was a politician, the best person I would ever follow is Jeremiah Cohn. And the person was like, why you say so? Because I one person I don't just react to people thinking, right? I
Mm.
pass your level. I feel like I pass your level. That's the reality about it. No matter how you say it, no matter how you paint it, this and that, I pass your level. And I gotta respond to you. You just looking for my attention. And you won't get my attention. I get a lot of things to pay attention to. Like Susan said, Philip, when things come, sometimes you have to just know that these things you pass by a long time. These are things that you don't sort of be making noise with. I told people it helped me a lot to see that situation that we should solve in just 2 to 3 minutes time. We're taking 5, 6 hours. We try to prolong it. Why? Why do you prolong these things? You try to use your common sense, try to concentrate wisely. But look at the kind of person. I'm not trying to condemn the person, I'm not trying to say, but look at the kind of person. If you're going head to head with that person, with the kind of dignity you carry, with the kind of personalities you have, do you know how people see you? That's why most of us today we are lost our personalities. We lost
Right.
those discipline we have, because the way we people that we not even sort of argue with, we argue with them. We
Right.
argue with them. Hey, sometimes I go for some discussion, people making noise, hurry here. I don't talk at all. I just leave and I play with. I just talking. And not me as stupid. People can talk to me in the worst way. They are told. Let me say on this platform, and those who are watching here, I tell people I reach a level that even you can call sorry to say my mother and whatever, it won't move me, because I passed that level long time. Those things again can't shake me. What have you? I don't know how you will feel about it, but it doesn't shake me. It doesn't move my knee. It doesn't move my mother knee. It's not something that will kind of make me vex. But other people tell you that when you do it, they'll try to react to you very wrongly. And through that reaction, sometimes you see that how a lot of people get to jail today. So I will conclude by saying, when these things happen, try to use your common sense. Try to think twice. Try to handle it very wisely. Don't answer people sometimes. Just walk away. That Susan said, walk away sometimes. Just text, oh, the way you be here, I don't think I like it. When they want to try to hold and pull it, forget about it. Leaving nothing when I move your knee. At the end of the day, that person in that man they will contact themselves, Philip. They will contact themselves. But I did it to the person who I think I had to go back to that person and then try to, appeal to them. That's how it works. And it's very easy. Through those things today, some of I walk away from many things and it doesn't move our knee. It doesn't change anything on me. It doesn't change anything on my family. I just remain just who I'm. Thank you, Philip.
And I like your point.
Another thing, Philip, I wanted to
Yeah.
add, I have an experience back home. A lady came at our house. She entered our living room. She insulted a lot. My mother was sitting, no one answered her. I was sitting, and I was like standing. So the extent she brought someone along to insult. So the person
Wow.
she brought was shocked because she was, like in Liberia, they taking the audacity entering into someone compound, not only their compound, their house, their living room, and we just sitting, you insulting, no one is talking. So like the friend she carried to help her in the process, what the friend are stopping her say, "Hey, he's stop, it's not talking, you can't
That,
stop." So
that's
she
it.
walked out. And when she done the way she entered, that's how she just walked out. The neighbors around were like, "Ah, the other people, the different, it can be us." They were like, but if I say something, I can recognize that lady. I don't know her, but she the one can be telling people, say, that girl, a poor girl, I went in their company, in their house, I insulted them, they never say a word. So they are telling that, like for me, I have this thing that say, not everything you need to respond to. Like what Mario said, you graduated from that stage. Somebody if the person is older than you have to prove to the person that you are mature than them because we are into a society now. If I wrong you, we set the professional people, we discuss it, and we don't. Not to be rolling and pulling things like kids. We cross that stage. So sometimes, like that's the reason I say not everything you hear you need to get the response. But there are certain things just come on your way to distract you from what you are focusing on. You just hear it, and when you hear it, you just pass. And as they go, you should go. You just remain focused. But the time you take to respond to that thing, that minute you need to be doing something that will be very progressive in your life. So that time you take, it's a waste of energy. Thank you.
I like that. I like that. Smartly said, logically spoken. And I mean, it's great. It's great. Imagine, Miles, the energy that I'm going to counterattack you with. I should put that energy to doing something very impactful and rewarding for me, my family, my friends, and my future. Now, what I have seen from what you two said, your conclusion, right? I have seen that not many of us are big on communication. Many people are very lazy when it comes to communication. You know, when I say lazy, they just tend to give or focus on just one aspect of the communication, speaking out, speaking up. And people say whenever you speak up or whenever you speak out to a situation or to whatever, then you kind of big enough. Then you have the nobody cannot or denigrate you. Nobody cannot see you as inferiors. Nobody cannot. I mean, they just kind of have a lot of myths in their head that if I don't talk, people take me to be lazy. If I don't talk, they take me to be weak. If I don't talk, they take me to be foolish. If I don't talk, they take me to be stupid. That's the mindset of majority of our people out here. That's the mindset of majority of the young girls, the young women. If I don't talk, my voice has to be heard. Is it the right time that you have to speak? Is it the right time that you cannot practicalize the verbal communication? No. You have to open your mind to different communications we have. You speak up when the time is right. You speak up when it is prudent enough that you do. You speak up. But we don't do that. We just don't do that. We just speak. We just lavish our words. We use words because we've got the energy. Because we've got the energy, we've got the time, and people are watching us. People are standing, on the side and be like, let's hear you out. Let's hear you out. Come on, speak up. No. There are times we also look at this other form of communication called silence. This other form of communication called non-verbal communication. You need not speak. You need not do any facial expression, negative one. Don't do. You just take a break, take a pause, and Maya said, you think through it. Do not think around the situation. Do not think around what has happened. Your ability to think through what has happened and what has been said unto you by the next person gives you the time, gives you the power, gives you the wisdom to be able to react at a later time. Is very important. And I think this happened based on lack of communication. And also it happens based on self-awareness. Many people are self-unaware. Many people are self-unaware. They lack that skill. They don't understand their feelings. And they don't actually think about whether or not this particular person worth their reaction. This particular thing worth their reaction. So lack of self-awareness is actually one of the factors that leads to people being, emotionally unintelligent. until and unless we are big on communication, communicating verbally and non-verbally, until we are big on self-awareness, that's the only time we can be able to react. We can be able to respond to chaotic situations, demeaning circumstance, or whatever toxic, environment we find ourselves. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are on the topic for tonight: emotional intelligence and self-awareness, especially for women. So this is the topic for tonight. And
Susan, are you here?
Yes, I'm getting
Yeah,
you.
while you were saying, sorry, Philip gonna be here very shortly. I think it's internet. Philip, you can just drive and come by. While you were saying, right, sometimes when you don't speak, people feel like you are lazy. But I usually tell people it's good to speak in silence, right? When these things arises, that Philip said, you have to be very careful on what you say. Okay, Philip is back.
yes, sir. Thank you. I don't know. I have some technical issue. So, okay, as I was saying, guys, we have to be big on communication. Let's have an open mind when it comes to communicating, our feelings. It's good that we communicate our feelings. Learn how to communicate your feelings in silence, in pause, by taking a break, or deciding or looking at that particular time or situation, whether or not it actually worth us speaking up or speaking out. So we have to be big on our communication. And the next thing we have to be big on is how self aware we are. Many of us become emotionally unintelligent because we lack the skill called self awareness. So we are transitioning to self awareness. And before we do transition, I would like Myers to, just take us on just 10 seconds of musical break, and we check in our comment session. I cannot access the comment session now. Myers, just if you can, or Susie, you can read out some of the comments or questions being put in there by our followers. Thank
Turning
you.
every challenge into yeah. Oh, my TV, light in the world. My TV, shine on the screen. Voices of hope, living the dream. From Africa's heart to the world we see. Truth and culture. Maya's TV, Maya's TV, bringing light each day. Stories that guide us, show the way. One love, one voice, one destiny. Welcome to the future, Maya's TV. A vision was born with a purpose so true. But when I'm Mayans, we are new. With faith and courage, the journey began. Building a platform for every man. Through trials and growth, the light stayed strong. Turning every challenge into
Are you here, Philip? All right. So yes, yes, what we have in our comment section, we have this is Mr. Anthony Mark Anthony Akone Kamara Jr. He said I'm following closely from my church compound. and we have Miss Esther B. Sewai. She also say hope to be panelist one of these days following from my home. Okay. So these are people we have, and another person we have our own senior brother, and I was just talking to him. I said, I think you can join us this coming Friday, Mr. Lee T. Gibson. He said
Yes.
I'm closely following. Dolo has finally shown his face. Kevin
Woo!
came back. Fire. Okay, so we have this my friend and brother Jefferson. Jefferson is also here. Jefferson Tango. He say I'm following, and he also say I'm following again. And then so far so good. These are people who wrote in the comment section.
Thank you, Miles. And I want to say hello to Mr. Gibson. Yeah, I'm back. All thanks to God. And again, big kudos to you for being an incredible guest last month. You were very impactful, and your voice actually spoke out to us, and we learned a lot. And we hope to, yeah, get you back, one of these days. It will be a great time, Miles. And again, to all our followers, we say thank you for your comments. Thank you for following. We love you. And please stay with us for the last 15 minutes or so. Please stay with us for the last 15 minutes as we transition to self awareness. I like this one, self awareness. So we've got two words, right? We've got two words, guys. We've got self and we've got awareness. So, right? Yeah. So that's the kind of posture, right? Self and awareness. So, Susie, I start off with you before I come in. What say you on self and awareness?
Okay, when we talk about self, particularly self refers to your individual.
Okay.
Awareness is like knowing
Mm.
something. So it would say self awareness. Like just like awareness is the enemy that we're talking about, is the enemy, the main foundation when it comes to emotional intelligence. So
Mm.
if you are aware of how you deal with this issue, so like me, Susie, being aware of this thing, so dealing with it in your emotional, intelligent way. So that's my point, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Niles, what's your thought on that? Self and awareness.
Thank you. So at least this kind of awareness someone not the one giving it to us, but rather you yourself. So
Okay.
you yourself has to be informed about those things that will harm you, those things that will profit you, or let me say those things that will help you to be successful. And
Right.
these are things that you as an individual needs to know from my end that you have to be aware of, and it's very serious or it's very essential for us as an individual. And one of these things have to do with knowing your emotion. You should be aware of your emotions, know what can get you angry, and know how you can handle that anger when it comes. Another
Right.
thing is you recognize your strength and weakness. There are a lot of us we only talk about our strength, we don't know our weakness, or we don't talk about our weakness. So as an every individual, it's your obligation that you should know your strength and your weakness, and try to admit that yes, indeed, this particular thing is my weakness. There are a lot of us we power by it, we try to hide behind it, and what have you. We try to polish our weaknesses and other things. But you as an individual, be aware, not just your strength. Oh, I'm strong on this side. Yeah. Oh, I'm an OT technician and what have you. Yes, there are some weaknesses I have, and I should be aware of it. I should know, how harmful or successful it's going to be with me. And then when I work on it, because if you are informed about your weaknesses and what have you, it's going to be a very good one for you. It help you to improve in a lot of places in life. It helps you to improve. So you must be aware of these things. Another thing we want to say here is understanding values and belief. You must be aware of your values and belief. There are a lot of us we are not aware about our values and belief. There that we are talking about women now. There are a lot of our young people today, a lot of our young sisters today. They don't know their values. They don't know how
Mm.
important they are in society. They don't know how those prestige that they carry. So they just give themselves any kind of way. They just do themselves any kind of way. They just speak any kind of way that we're talking about emotional intelligence right now. When things arises, we don't understand our values. So we just react to it any kind of way. We must be in the know of these things. And the last one I want to say is identifying emotional trigger. Why is that we talk about emotional trigger? Those things you must be aware of, those things that can trigger your emotion. And when you start to see the sound and symptom, like the medical people will say, when you try to see the sign and symptom, the first thing will tell you must try to take what precaution measure, right? Where you try to get medication and other things, then right. So you must know the thing that can that as soon as you try to concentrate, you know that as soon as anger coming to you, it try to trigger you, you must be aware of it and how you can try to fight it to be able to what to deal with it wisely. Thank you so much, my brother.
I like you both perspective when it comes to this self-awareness thing. You have a very strong point that you proved just now, and you just made it clear to us. And I was thinking through your different thoughts, which are very strong, and I was like, okay, so people tend to ignore their emotions instead of understanding them. Now, when a girl, when a woman, when a boy, or when a man tends to ignore his feelings instead of just understanding that feelings, we say you lack the skill called self-awareness. The person lack it. The person lacks the skill called self-awareness. So, like you both said, it's simply you having the ability, you are having the mindset, and Susie said you are having the energy to understand your feelings. And Miles also said, what are those things that when people say or do kind of pull the trickle out of you? You know, it clicked. It just clicked. What turns you on or what turns you off? Now, when those things which turn you off happen, how do you handle it? And what are those things that you know can easily turn you off? If you don't know, if you cannot tell yourself or you cannot tell the next person those things which quickly or easily turn you off, my friend, I'm saying that you simply lack what? Self awareness. But your ability to identify, your ability to recognize those situations, those circumstances, those bad words or good words that turn you off, your ability to recognize them, then you are highly self aware. It's very important because if we are not self aware, what happens? Excuse me, we become emotionally unintelligent. Then whatever comes to our mind, we react quickly without giving a second thought. So many of us are very emotionally unintelligent because we lack the skill called self-awareness. Now, can I take a break to react to this thing? Can I pause? Like we said a few minutes back. Can I pause before reacting? Or should I react on the scene now? Nope. We say when you know those things which turn you off, when you can easily recognize them and identify them, then you can manage your emotions well. Then you can have a very healthy relationships with people, with yourself either. It's very important. And we will be transitioning to the questions where Myers is going to be very practical on this one. Likewise, Susie, very practical on this one. There might be a situation, maybe not, you have encountered, but you just have to be practical based on your analytical skill, though. So let's have it tonight. And to our followers, we encourage you to just drop your thought in the comment section as well. So, like, this is a skill, like I said from my intro a couple of minutes back. Emotional intelligence is a skill we develop. We were not born with emotional intelligence. Self awareness is a skill we develop. We were not born with, self-awareness. And discipline is also a skill we can develop. We were not born being disciplined. No. Patience is a skill we develop. We were not born being patient-minded. So these are all skills we tend, to build in ourselves as we transition from this phase of life to the next phase of life, from this community to the next community, from this environment to the next environment. Now the question is to Susie, right? How can someone develop this skill called self-awareness?
Um, Thank you. Um, the firstly, one thing the person needs to do is to know their identity.
Okay.
Last month we were talking about it here is if you are following the show from last month, you need to know your identity. Know your identity. One thing you need to know your value, like Maya said. If
Right.
you know who you are, there are certain position in life because most often those people that cause the chaos, if you can remember, majority of them will say or will be like, I don't have nothing to lose. But you
Mm,
that have something to lose, you
right.
should know because the moment the person say I don't have nothing to lose, you should already know that they don't know who they are.
Okay.
But if you know who you are, understanding who you are, knowing your value, and knowing what you stand for, especially not for you, but those that are looking up to you, if they hear such thing about you, how would they react to it? Like they will be like, I was looking up to this person, but what he did is actually breaking down. You have at that particular point, you are like Maya said, you think it twice, then you calculating every words that coming from that person mouth. Like you'll be like, if I do this, if I do that. So first thing you're supposed to know who you are and you check like if this happened, what people will see, those that are looking up to me. Because anything go on the contrary, you feel those that are looking up to you. You
Mm,
actually feel them. That's why you begin up. So because you can notice that many people actually say that thing, I don't have nothing to lose. The moment the person say you don't have no, they don't have nothing to lose. My sister, my brother, pack your load, go.
right.
Because that person just came with a mission to just
Yeah.
use you.
Right.
So just pack your load and go. No matter any how the person say agree, just walk and go.
So
Maybe
the moment,
through your action, the person will change.
you hear the person say, "I don't have nothing,"
Nothing to lose.
that means, on the contrary, I have everything to lose.
Yes, because
Man,
the people who are pushing for you.
yeah,
Because the
Miles,
person
you,
know that if you do ah,
yeah, you have your identity to lose. You have your character to lose. And big off, you have your time and energy to lose. Miles, let's hear you out. Susie has already set up the pace. Let's hear you out, sir.
Philip, thank you. So, when it comes to self awareness, when I was doing some research, I tried to understand that self awareness is in a two form. It's either
Okay,
internal or external, and
right.
we have to know these things, right? And when we talk about those internal one, we talk about your personal value.
Mm,
Personal value, we talk about your goal, and we talk about emotional patterns. So, like Susan was saying, if you know your goal, if you know your personal values, if you know those kind of patterns you can use to escape those problems that come, then you will know definitely that that particular thing it is not something that belongs to me.
right.
Another thing we talk about external self awareness, and what we talk about how others perceive you, right? How others perceive you, communication impact, social influence. Know the kind of people that are following you. When I try to do this thing, if I try to go this way, will these people still look at me the way they look at me? And Will the people still see me the way they see me, the kind of family I found, the kind of discipline I have when I kind of do these things? Will these people still look at me the way they're looking at me? They will still look up to me like that? With the kind of influence we have, the way we communicate with people, the way we send those messages out to people, the way we talk to people, right? It matters a lot. So you as an individual, you must be aware of your external and internal one self-awareness, and you must know that it should work out together, because the external one is those outside there. After you have done this thing, those internal one, when you have misused them, people outside there now look at you. Ah, but is this how Mr. Dolo look? Is this how Susie look? Is this how Myers look? They start to call you those kind of things, because people doesn't look at you that kind of way with the kind of influence you have over them. You see what happens? There were a lot of us, we lost respect, we lost regard from other people. And that's why today our society we face this problem, because we are not aware of ourselves, we are not aware of ourselves. And those things that we need to know about our goal. You must know your goal in life. You once you are a focused person, no matter the trials that or tribulation that comes your way, know that you have an objective. Know that you are up to something. No matter who will come, know the kind of pattern you can use to overcome them. Because if you don't use that pattern to overcome them, they become an obstacle or become a cornerstone to you or become a stopping stone to you. What happened at the end of the day? Do you know how society outside there look at you? How they look at you? And do you know what they say to you? Those people you have influence over. Do you know what things they do to you? Or how they look at you? Know the kind of man we see to say, oh, he's like this, he's like this, he's somehow weak. So we must try to look at all these things, our external and internal, self-awareness. When we know all these things as an individual, Philip, it will help us a lot on how to move in society. Because mind you, this world we are living in, Philip, automatically we will face a lot of problems. Trials will come. There are people say you won't do anything to, they will come with that thing. But what matters when you are aware about yourself, when you are aware about those things that you are chasing, when you are aware about your mission, your vision, and what have you in society, you won't focus on them because you already know what you're facing. So I'll stop here for now.
Thank you. I think from my end to buttress your points you both raised, it's simply, one, recognizing their identity. That's one. Recognizing your identity. Taking into consideration your status. You could be from the elite, you could be from the middle class, you could be from the low class, but considering your status. 3, looking at your vision, the plans you have. If you react, will your plan be obstructed? If you, respond to this thing, never giving, an attention to your feelings, lacking the skill called self-awareness. If you like that and you react to something instantly, is it going to affect my image tomorrow? Is it going to affect the recommendation someone is going to make for me? Is it going to affect my marriage? Is it going to affect my children? Is it going to affect my faith? Is it going to affect my family? Better still, is it going to affect my God? So we kind of just now thinking around. Myers, Susie, and to all the young people, this is my advice. We ought to stop thinking around situation. Just thinking around. You remember the Bible said, and the children of Israel, they were just moving around, just in cycle. And Susie, when you are moving in a cycle, there is no starting point and there is no ending point within a cycle. But if you have the ability to think through something, what happens? You move forward. If you have the ability to think through what this person has done, what they have said, and your ability by thinking through it, now will bring you to this concept of a wise man. He said, let them do what they can do. Why? Because I don't have the power to control them. But guess what? Fortunately enough, I have the power to control my feelings, my emotions, because I understand them. So let me do what I can do and let them do what they can do. Until and unless, my people, you cannot consider, you give consideration to the values you have, those disciplines that were instilled in you by your parents, right? The identity you have formed, but you know, like practicalizing your character on a day-to-day basis, that your identity, that your image, that your reputation you have built. You know, people will say, do not tarnish my reputation. If you don't want your reputation to be tarnished, to be trashed, we say that you ought, you are advised to learn this skill called self-awareness. You have to be self-aware of what gets you mad. When you get mad, how do you get mad? Now, if you have answered all of those questions, then whenever similar thing is about to happen, you kind of navigate. Maya said that you escape. You find a pattern to escape. It's very important, guys. In this time and in this season, as especially for young people, in particular women, it's important you know your value, you know your worth, how much you cost, you know your identity, you know your plans, your future plans, and give people the right, give people the privilege to do what they can do, because you don't have the superpower to change their mindset. But blessed of all, you have the power to change your mindset and control your feelings. So we transition to the next question, and then in a few minutes we call this a day. And the next question is based off what we just asked. How can someone develop self-awareness? So the next question is actually based off this, question we just share our thoughts and points on. Like, why is self-awareness so important for young people today? Looking at the internet era, looking at the peer pressure, looking at family pressure, I mean, looking at too many factors. Why is self-awareness very important for us as young people, especially women? Let's hear you out, Kevin.
Uh, One thing is for women, uh, self-awareness is important to us. One is to improve our relationships and communication skills. One is to boost our confidence again, which is the second one. If we talk about improving our relationship and our relationship and communication, we are talking about like it allows us to be a better person, to understand the impact of other people as a women. And one thing it increase our empathy and it enable us to be like self-creative, like to set boundaries to certain things. Because being a woman, you being a female or a lady, there are certain things you need to set boundary on. So if you are aware of who you are as a woman, what you stand for, there are certain things you should set boundary. Boundary in a way like if it comes to the respect, like sometimes we are people just see some women like some men they just like something. So if you see like the man is disrespecting you as well, you know what you need to do, just set boundary because normally in society a woman, female or male, not need to be going to anything because you already understand and boosting our confidence in ourselves that understanding our value, our strength, and the weakness of us. So in that sense that if you understand your value, which is you know what you stand for, and you know your strength, and again, like you know your weakness. So there are some things you don't go that far. So being a woman is another thing you need to understand things in society. Being a woman is not just being a woman, but just the name. But you need to understand basic things in society. I stop here.
Thank you. So, Miles, let's take you on just 1 minute. What say you on that question?
Thank you, Philip. You talk about self-awareness. One of the things I want to say, it helps you, have that personal value or that high esteem. That's one of the benefits you get from being self-aware of yourself. You gain that personal, value or esteem. Another thing, it help you to be focused on your goal or objective in life. It help
Right,
you to be very focused, to be a focused minded person. No matter what will come around you, you won't give attention to it because you know why
right.
you are heading to it. Another thing, uh, it helps you when it comes to your communications impact, right? Because when you are aware about yourself, you know how people go around doing things. You will know how to relate to them. You will know what to say to them. It helps you because you, as an influential person, right? There are other people come to you for saying. So if you are aware about things, right, you are well informed and other things, you will know what to say to them, and you know when different situations arise, how to engage it to them. And another thing has to do with uh, emotional intelligence. That's another thing. You will know how to handle situation as well when it comes. You will know the kind of pattern to use, and like we stated before, everything about emotional intelligence. You will know how to go about doing it. So that's a benefit we get from self awareness. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I mean, we've been having a great conversation for the past 1 hour, 32 minutes now. And we've been talking about emotional intelligence, and also we just came down to self awareness, which, of course, these two skills are correlated. And you cannot manage or control your emotions until and unless you are aware about yourself or of yourself, and you kind of tend to regulate your emotions, your feelings, and whenever things trickle you, how to go about reacting to them. So these are conversations we've been having for the past 1 hour 33 minutes. And ladies and gentlemen, our followers, we will be back yet again on Friday with another edition of this, emotional learning, especially for women. Having said that, we will take our parting statements from both our panelists, and then we call it a day. So, Susie, it's great to have you on. Thank you for sharing your insights with us. Thank you for being practical. Thank you for being vulnerable at a certain point in the conversation. So, could you please share with us your parting statement?
Okay, good evening again to our followers tonight. First, I want to say thank you for taking up your time to follow our show tonight. We know we come with this course, we learn and we know that you all are learning from us. Or we just hope that you guys are putting it into practice. One thing I'm encouraging those that have emotional intelligence. Bravo to you all out there. Continue the hard work. We are not weak. We are very strong. It's good to be like strong in like keeping things to evolve issues. And for those that are still fighting their emotions, I know it is hard, but it's a gradual process. As you go back this month, take your time, learn. It's not everything you need to respond to because the more you grow, the more you become mature in dealing with issues. You can make it. No one should tell you that you can make it. You can make it. You can overcome that issue. You will definitely. And I pray that before we end this episode for this month, there will be a great changes in our followers. So thank you for tonight. Bye.
Thank you, Susie. That was great of you. Thank you. Miles, right off, let's hear you, sir.
Thank you so much, and let me say thanks to all of our followers. And let me say, this morning has been dedicated to our ladies, our mothers, our sisters, and one of you want to say happy, Women Month, and one of you want to say wish you guys all the best. So let me just give you guys just a call of action, right? That you have to follow this month and forward, right? Women
Absolutely.
or women, let me say the women, right? Know yourself, protect your peace, develop emotional discipline, learn with empathy, and then the last one say empower other women. Don't just
Right.
learn alone. What you have learned, try to empower other people. And I want to climb out to say invest in awareness and emotional intelligence. The true empowerment begins within. Your true empowerment begins within, not without. Start it with yourself first. Know all these things, and it's going to help our society. Once again, I want to say Happy Women Month to all of our ladies, and we love you with the love of God. Keep on enjoying yourself. Thank you, Philip.
And those were the voices of both our panelists, Kebe Bada Mace as in, and that of Mr. Bernard D. Myers. You guys were being very impactful. You share your thoughts. You gave us your perspective on a very practical skill that which we appreciate a lot. And I do believe our followers learn a lot. And we hope that you come back this week on Friday and Saturday to share more of your thoughts on this topic. That being said, I would like to leave you all, our followers, with this one line, right? Do not allow your emotions to control you. You know why? Because you are in charge of your emotion. Yes, absolutely. I am in charge of my emotions, of my feelings. So I need not allow my emotions or my feelings to control me. So once you do that, you have the power to make an informed decision. Once you do that, once you control your emotions, you have the power to make informed decision, to formulate strategies, and to go about your next step in doing things. And you're going to have a healthier relationships with people. You're going to have a great time with yourself. You're going to have a beautiful family. You're going to have a great cycle. You're going to be successful in life. And above all else, God in heaven will be pleased. Until then, I am your host, Philip J. Dolo, and we see you again, same time on this platform on Friday and Saturday. God bless you all. Good night, good morning, good afternoon. Bye, guys.
TV.